in the military, I was exposed to like a lot of leaders, developed a lot of opinions about that. And I feel really excited to see, especially as we move into whatever's next.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that like you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to add people to the team. But I think you're going to be really good at leading that team.
Thank you.
And Jeff together,
Yeah.
I think. So I'm excited to see that too. And that's kind of going to just be like another evolution of who you are.
Mm-hmm. It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
Jeff and I, we've already added one person to our team. Shout out Morgan. Please don't, think that she doesn't do a lot because she does a ton.
Yeah.
Morgan's actually really helpful. Jeff and I talk about this of like, she helps free up some of the stuff that needs to get done today. So she is running around, like helping us with things and assisting us in our lives so that Jeff and I can take that meeting and talk about tomorrow, the next week, the next month, the next year. We could probably use 4 or 5 more human beings on our team across many different facets. But yeah, I think that's an important piece of like, I don't want to be the guy who never signs, who never adds somebody to the team, and then you just plateau because you can't give up any control. So part of being a great leader is learning to delegate. And so Jeff and I are getting better at that. We are.
How have you felt that or experienced that when it comes to the podcast?
Oh, to the podcast? I mean, the podcast is like a whole nother beast because I know how to do music stuff fairly well because I'm in year 8 of that.
Yeah.
The podcast, I feel like I'm such a baby. Like I'm learning so much.
I'm hearing that TikTok sound. I'm a baby.
I'm just a baby. Exactly. I feel like I know how to post about music. I know how to schedule music. I know how to do all that stuff. And like the podcast really just is this whole different thing. And I thought it would be closer than it is. And I don't think it is. I think it's like a very different entity, long form, nuanced conversation. It comes out once a week. How do you keep people excited?
Yeah.
How do you keep listeners listening throughout the whole thing? It's a very different world.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning a ton there. The delegation part comes from having guys like you, our XPLR Explorer, friends who are listening to us right now and helping us edit this stuff and like micro content.
Yeah.
All of that. My goal for the podcast is that I can almost do as little as possible.
Yeah.
Not in a lazy way, in a way that is just like, how can I have you and the guys help me in every single facet that you can so that all I'd worry about is like guests that I want to have on and posting content about the cool interview that I already did.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's all that I have to do. It really has gotten to that point. It's very little, overthinking and stuff that happens there. But I would say it's another. I mean, we're big piece
sitting
of my life.
Today. It's cool to do this anyways, but we wanted to record one because we don't have an episode stacked, so we're a little bit behind.
Yeah, I mean,
full transparency.
Yeah, here's
and
the
I want
look
to get.
behind the curtain.
I like as a key part of this. Like I don't want this to happen.
Of course.
And I hope to be able to take more of that off your plate as this grows, and I think it will.
I think it will. I think a lot more people are tuning into the podcast because it's a way better look into who I am. And so if you're a fan of me and my music, I think my podcast is a really good insight into like who I am, what I think is interesting. And I think you'd be shocked, or you wouldn't be, but some people would be shocked at how much like stuff that I talk about in music gets talked about on the podcast. And they're actually not as dissimilar as you'd think.